Mare set to kick off, and deep back for the Green Bay Packers, Desmond Howard along with Jaheen Arnold. Arnold has that great flexibility, a fine receiver, but a great punt and kickoff man as well.
He's done some excellent things with the football after the catch, and he's got the speed, and that's one of the things that the Green Bay Packers like about him. Unfortunately, he's not going to get a chance to show it here.
Samari drives Desmond Howard to a knee in the end zone. Green Bay will start it at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. We'll get our first look tonight at the Packer offense and quarterback Brett Favre. And the offense, and especially the running game, has got to start to find some consistency.
This is what they were hoping for, to take some of the pressure off of Brett Favre. A couple of weeks back, the Denver Broncos blitzed him every single down, and without the ability to run the football, they put all the pressure on quarterback Brett Favre, and he came out after only 2 series.
With Derek Mays traded, Schrader becomes the starting wide receiver opposite Freeman. Davis, the tight end, in motion. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for Favre. Pocket crumbles, he's hit. It's a fumble, it's a loose ball, scooped up by the Packers at the 22-yard line. So it was a fumble, it was a live ball, and Green Bay lucky to jump on it. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for Green Bay.
Kevin, this is exactly what the Green Bay Packers did not want to see. It happened to him last week, happened to him 2 weeks ago. Brett Favre getting pressure from the backside. A devastating hit again from the blind side. A couple guys piling on. And that's something you don't want to see early in the preseason, is pretty much your entire franchise sitting on the ground getting beaten.
Crushing blow leveled by Rich Owens, the ex-Washington Redskin. 2nd down and 8 for Green Bay. And Favre again. Second pass he wants to throw. There goes a flag, and there goes the pass. Looking for Schrader. Incomplete at the 39 of Miami. A flag was thrown back at the Green Bay 27. Schrader now gets that starting job as Mays takes off, and they have filled that role. Now it's the backups that will provide the biggest question marks tonight and for the next week.
Well, the one thing about Bill Schrader that he's done is he's kind of taken his play to the next level. We'll hear what the referee has to say.
5 yards.
It's on cornerback Sam Madison. Let's take a look at the Green Bay Packer offense tonight, brought to you by Ford. Quarterback, of course, is Favre, and blocking for him, Dotson, Rivera, Flanagan starting for Winters. Nothing to read there. Winters still the main guy, with Wall and Verba. Levens and Henderson in the backfield. Schrader and Freeman the wideouts. The tight end is the pass-catching Tyrone Davis. And here's Dorsey Levens for the first time tonight. Whacked down the play by Calvin Jackson, the safety. A little gain that will set up 2nd down and 10.
This is where the Green Bay Packers have had their problems, is on that 2nd down running, trying to gain some of the yardage back. Dorsey Levens last week, I believe, carried the total 12 yards and had nine of it on 1 carry, totaling 6 carries. So they weren't very effective with Dorsey running the football early in the football game.
4 wide receivers deployed. Levens by himself in the backfield. 4-man conventional rush by Miami. Favre fires a pass, and it's incomplete. Looking across the middle and zeroing in on receiver Antonio Freeman. And Freeman has it slip through his hands. The defensive front, and this may be the deepest defensive line, and says Madison's the best cornerback he's ever coached. Jackson and Brock Marion, the ex-Cowboy, are at the safety. It's 3rd and 10 for the Packers in a scoreless first quarter. Green Bay taking the opening kickoff. Now from their own 27. Favre with the sidearm pass. Another flag has been thrown. Incomplete pass, and we'll see what the 2 penalty flags are about. But you quickly signal holding up here in the booth.
You can see Brett, he doesn't know what's going on up front. He called an audible up front, and they didn't read it outside. Antonio Freeman still yet to get his reads down. It was on the Green Bay Packers, a little holding, getting back pressure on Brett Favre. But I think Antonio Freeman and Brett Favre are yet to get in the sync. Antonio hasn't had enough practice time yet.
14 days held out, made his first appearance last week down in New Orleans. And you're right, timing is such a big factor, especially in this offense. So now the Green Bay Packers will punt. Here's Chris Hansen, who was just let go by the Cleveland Browns. And deep back Keo Sanford for the Miami Dolphins. A high hanging punt. He drills it And it's caught by Sanford on the back pedal at the 29, and he's brought down with the great special teams tackle by Rodney Artmore. This is years old in September and still acting like he's 28.
His bio's 40 pages long. I didn't even read any college books that long.
Well, look where you went. First down and 10 from the 29. And the pitch out goes to John Avery, getting a block from his tight end, Troy Drayton. Great pursuit by the Packers. Williams was there, and Bernardo Harris leveled it for Green Bay's defense. The forward offense for the Dolphins tonight, a line of James Brown, Donnelly, Ruddy, Mark Dixon may be the best of the group, and Brent Smith is the left tackle. Dan Marino, the quarterback, Avery and Conrad, the rookie from Syracuse, the backfield. Tony Green and Tony Martin and Yateel Green are the wide receivers. Troy Drayton is the tight end. It's second down and 12. Back near the Miami 27. And Marino right to work on first down across the middle and batted down. Santana Dotson was there. Bonnie Holiday was there, and they knocked it down, forcing a 3rd and 12 for Miami's offense.
Kevin, this is the scary thing that Green Bay fell into last week. They would do great on first and second down, and then on third and long yardage, they would give up the big play. 248 yards of offense in the first half alone last week against the New Orleans Saints.
And that defensive pass rush has got to be there tonight to give them hope going into next week.
Especially against a quarterback like Dan Marino. You give him time, and he's going to kill you.
Marino has sent out 3 receivers. Third down and 12. Good time. Brings it back in on the roll with those gimpy knees and throws a pass which is incomplete. Zeroing in on Kevin McKenzie, a backup wide receiver. The coverage applied by Darren Sharper. And it's 3-0 for the Miami Dolphins. As you take a look at the Ford Packer defense, Booker, Dotson, Brown, and Holiday. Kuntz, Harris, and Williams are the linebackers. And the secondary doing a great job on that last 3rd and 12. Edwards, Williams, Butler, and Sharper. We will not see the talk of the camp, rookie cornerback Mike McKenzie, out with the hip pointer tonight. Brett Bartholomew, a 6th-round rookie out of Ohio State, will punt. Deep back, Desmond Howard signaling for the fair catch and runs out of bounds near the Green Bay 32. Green Bay have had the ball one time, both punting. Here's Green Bay's second possession from the 33, first down and 10. Brett Favre with his second possession, sending Freeman in motion. Course 11. Wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and tackle made by Darryl Gardner. It's the final tune-up before the regular season opener, Brian. So what do you see as the Toyota keys to winning tonight?
We talked about it earlier in the show in the open, and it's running the football, and they're still struggling there a little bit, trying to get the football down the field. Don't give up the big plays. Last week on 3rd and long situations, they gave up the big plays, and most importantly, get out of this football game with everybody healthy.
Especially when you saw what happened to Trent Green a couple nights ago out in San Diego, the Rams starting quarterback. 2nd and 10. Favre looking for a second option, being chased, and wisely goes down at about the 39. So he'll have about 3 yards to go for the first, chased by rookie Brian Jones, the linebacker. I think everybody holds their breath when Brent decides to tuck it in and run.
When you've got a franchise like Brett, and I think everybody realizes the importance that Brett Favre is to the Green Bay Packers football team, but this guy just has the unique, uncanny ability to create things, and when he starts running, you just don't know what he's going to do. And right there, thank goodness he didn't try to take a linebacker on one-on-one.
We've already had one scare with the sprained thumb in that Denver game, but that is healed. He threw 2 touchdown passes last week in New Orleans after the 6-yard gain. 3rd and 4. And the pass is caught by Antonio Freeman. And Favre threads the needle and gets the Packer first down.
Perfect pass by Brett Favre. Uh-oh, we've got somebody down that's hurt.
A Dolphin, and it looks like Patrick Surtain.
But it's a first down for the Packers, and Brett threaded the needle there. I don't like it when they start looking at knees. That's not good.
Here in the first quarter, a first down pass moments ago from quarterback Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman. Patrick Surtain walked off under his own power after the injury timeout. The Dolphin cornerback is on the sideline. We're looking at him right now. So it's 1st and 10 from the 44. Favre right to work on first down. And that pass thrown in back of receiver Jaheen Arnold. rush was coming awful tough up the middle from Daryl Gardner. It'll be 2nd and 10. Let's head downstairs and visit with Chris Roth. We'll check out with him in a second. Shotgun snap, 2nd down. In traffic, far goes an interception. Picked off on the play by Sam Madison. And out of bounds he goes. And Farr throws the pick, and a good return by Madison. I think we told you to head the broadcast tonight, but Jimmy Johnson says he's the best cornerback he's ever coached.
Last week, the defense alone had 4 passes intercepted, and 2 of them went for touchdowns. That one almost did. Brett kind of underthrew, I think. Behind him was Schrader was back behind, and it was just a great play by the cornerback. He broke up on the play. You can see the ball just a little bit underthrown as Schrader was back. And it's just an excellent defensive play by him. And the secondary, they take gambles in Miami. They're willing to come up with the interception or maybe possibly give up the big play. And there they came up with a big play.
New Miami quarterback. We're not going to see any more Dan Marino. Damon Huard is in. We'll have it from the Green Bay Packer 41. And the handoff goes quickly to John Avery. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is injured tonight. There goes a flag thrown as Avery takes it outside. Avery was a first pick of this Dolphin team a season ago out of Mississippi.
He was more of one of those little scat back type of guys that you like to see on, mostly he was a return specialist.
Holding. Offense number 44. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
But he's doing quite well in the preseason already. Last week he had 16 carries for 66 yards. So he finished 2nd on the club last year also with over 500 yards rushing. So he's a situational type back, and unless forced into a situation like he is today, where he's going to see quite a bit more playing time than usual.
Penalty against the Dolphins. Mark it back 10 yards, so it's 1st and 20, much to the chagrin of Jimmy Johnson. So now the Dolphins push back to their 49, where they have it 1st and 20. Lamar Thomas in motion. It looked like that James Brown, the right tackle, moved prematurely. He now makes it 1st and 25. By the way, nothing is wrong with Marino. They were just going to play in the series. We thought perhaps 2, but he's done. So Huard is in. Damon is a 3rd-year quarterback out of Washington. 1st and 25 with time. Going deep, and he's got a receiver, and it's incomplete. Williams on the coverage of Lamar Thomas, who is burning down the sideline.
That's where the Packers were hoping the secondary could do something, what they're doing right there with Tyrone Williams. They say he's probably their #1 cover guy, and the thing that they've been burned. Everybody knows the Minnesota Vikings deal, that they're in position, but they've got to come up with the plays. You know, you see Brock Huard there, the quarterbacks, and the one thing we talked about earlier with quarterbacks around the league getting hurt is this late in the preseason, the one thing nobody wants to try to take a risk of is a possible injury to one of their major players.
And they think this kid's the future, too. And Marino, as you said, will turn 38 next week. And here's a quick pass. Intercepted down the middle. Picked off by Bernard, then dropped by Bernardo Harris. Well, it was close.
That pass was to Bernardo Harris.
Right.
That was an incomplete pass to Bernardo Harris. And a linebacker, I'm telling you, you don't get many chances. Believe me, after 9 years, I didn't get many chances. Bernardo, you don't get many chances where look at this. This ball hits him right in the chest. There's nobody there. Look at him. He's looking right at him. Where's he throwing?
May have been
Bernardo.
going for Avery.
That's too many tackling drills there, Bernardo.
3rd down now. 25 for Miami. Huard, good pocket developing. He dumps it off to Avery, who's their 3rd down back normally. Had a lot of injuries in the running back core for Miami has whittled away their resources tonight. Avery is well shy of the 1st down. Had to get to the Green Bay 31. And for a 2nd consecutive possession, Miami's got to punt the ball.
Another good job by the defensive secondary of the Green Bay Packers. Staying deep, staying back with their coverage, and then breaking up and making the tackle before the 1st down yardage is gotten.
Desmond Howard awaits the punt from Ohio State rookie Brent Bartholomew. This one is high, and angling as a flag is thrown, and that is out of bounds inside the 10. But 2 flags at the 45. Packers got a little too aggressive on their
No, Kevin, this is what
against Miami, and that's something that Jimmy Johnson did not want to see here in this final preseason game. The rookie to punt once again. This one is even better. Howard to let it go. It dies at the 7, inside the 5, and Miami's rookie punter, Brett Bartholomew, has the Packers pinned at the 7-yard line. Squad last year, 1st and 10 from the 7-yard line. He has it after the great punt by Bartholomew, and the pitch out goes to Dorsey Levens. Trying to find something outside, but nothing is there. Nice pursuit. Hasselbeck has thrown 7 preseason touchdowns, and even more importantly, not a single pick.
Look at those statistics that he's got there. You know, and more impressive for me is that he's outlasted some pretty good quarterbacks that they brought in to be number 2s. Rick Meyer just recently traded. David Klingler, both former #1 draft picks in the National Football League that were supposed to be the top guys. And here you got a guy like Hasselbeck coming in and lighting things up.
2nd down, a long 9. Levens again, slithering up the middle, crossing the 10, up near the 13-yard line. And he is tackled on the play by Jones, and let's send it down to Chris Roth.
All right, thanks very much, Kevin. I know you guys have talked about the changes in the offensive line this week. Mike Wall going in at left guard. Well, when this man comes back to practice, presumably this week, there may be some more changes ahead. Joe Andruzzi joining me now. Joe, you were having a terrific camp by everybody's estimation. You sprained the MCL in your right knee. Are you close to coming back?
Yeah, I'll be back next week. I'm close to 100%. Just ready to get back and help the team, you know, as much as I can, contribute to whatever I can do.
Starting job has to be on your mind because everybody was talking about it before you got hurt.
It's always on my mind, but I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to try and get back to where I left off. You know, Mike Wall's out there. He's having a great camp. You know, it's up to the coaches. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to push him. It's a long season. You know, you don't know what's going to happen.
You are an undrafted free agent out of a very tiny school, so you got to know what some of 14 players are going through now as the final cuts are coming up after this game.
Oh yeah, you get nervous. You don't want to answer that phone. You know, you want to pull the plug out. But you know, a lot of these young guys stepping up this year. You know, playing great. So it looks good for a lot of guys. You know, a lot of surprises. You know, everybody knows the last few weeks, but I think we have a good core of guys, and we're going to make things happen this year.
All right, Joe Andruzzi, best of luck when you come back for the injury. We'll see if he pushes for a starting job. Let's go back upstairs to Kevin and Brian. Gentlemen?
All right, Chris. Ray Rose is telling us a great story. This kid doesn't rehab with weights. He rehabs by pushing the equipment golf cart on the field in practice.
He's a nut, boy. He's crazy.
3rd and 4 after the 5-yard gain by Levens. A quick pass. Great knocked down by linebacker Larry Izzo on a pass intended for Antonio Freeman from Hasselbeck. Izzo is normally a reserve, but played like a starter there.
Yeah, Izzo's your special teams guru as they have, and Matt Hasselbeck pushes up into the pocket, looks for his outlet receiver there, and just a beautiful play by Larry Izzo. And he's running there with a wide receiver. He's running with Antonio Freeman. That tells you what kind of speed Izzo's got.
Chris Hansen will punt for the Green Bay Packers. Sanford is deep back inside the 5.
Oh.
And they blow that one dead just as the ball is launched. And a call against the Packers.
That was very close, Kevin, to being blocked from the left side, I think.
Full start on the kicking team, number 83, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
I think maybe Jeff Thomason either maybe thought he was going to get an early jump or something, but or it might have been drawn. You see him to the top right-hand top of your screen, the right-hand side. But your outside receiver, your outside defender is coming straight at the ball. And for the left-footed kicker, I guess they're planning on just timing getting that ball out of there. This one could be interesting.
Hansen again to punt. Rushes on, punt is blocked. It's in and out of the end zone, and Brock Marion is the one to jump on it for Miami. The ex-Dallas Cowboy with a huge play and 2 points for the Dolphins. Well, we had seen it brewing.
You kind of saw it off the top of the screen there. He came untouched the first time, and this time they had 2 individuals come untouched. Brock Marion gets his hand on the ball, and they're fortunate it goes out of the back of the end zone because you can see they've got 4 or 5 guys that are sitting there waiting for it.
Off from the Packers and take possession.
You know, last week the Packers lived and died on their turnover ratio. Right now, I believe they're leading the league or tied for the league lead right now at +4. what...
and with the far pick, it's +3.
Now down to +3, now +2.
Right.
You know, they did some great things last week, the second unit per se last week, and here we are again. There's still some of the first unit that is in there, but this was a special teams thing that you hope doesn't happen. Jimmy Johnson, you can see, is pretty happy that it happened, and now the Miami Dolphins are going to turn around and get some pretty decent field position right here off a punt.
This is what happens after they have the safety, of course, as the punter will boot it away. John Avery is deep back at the top of your screen, and Keo Sanford is at the bottom of your screen. Sanford is a first-year player out of Kentucky who used to catch passes in Lexington from the first pick in the draft, Tim Couch. High punt, and it'll be Avery losing it in the lights, loose inside the 10, picks it up, he fumbled the ball, it's loose, and the Packers have it.
Big plays.
Grabbed by Chris Akins, a rookie 7th-round pick out of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
I guess you'd say turnabout is fair play. A beautiful punt by Hansen. He hung the ball up nice and high, and Avery, you would think he's your return specialist. But just a nice shot on the ball. Somebody got a shot on the ball there. I can't tell if that was Jude. It might have been Jude Watt. He got a nice shot on the ball. Coughed it out, and just a lot of good hustle by special teams players on the Packers' part, and they're 1st and 10.
In fact, it's 1st and goal just at the 10-yard line, so the Packers have got to go in here. They cannot get a first down. Hasselbeck is the quarterback, the tight end Davis in motion. Shimura won't play, and Hasselbeck throws it off, caught by Henderson, diving inside the 5 to the 2. And a flag has been thrown, probably roughness against the Miami Dolphins on the Packer quarterback Hasselbeck. It is the call.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 79. Will go half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
1st and goal.
Good setup by the Green Bay Packers. They haven't had a whole lot of success running the football, but it's a misdirection play, and here you've got William Henderson coming into the flat, uncovered with a defensive lineman that's got to stop him, and Hasselbeck just dumps him off, and what the defensive end does is just try to take his knees off, which is, again, a scary thing that we saw happen last week to Brett Favre. These guys are going after quarterbacks' knees, and these referees are going to protect the quarterbacks in vulnerable situations.
So now Green Bay with the fumbled punt by the Dolphins inside the 2, 1st and goal. The handoff to Levin, stopping and whacked at about the 4. Caved in on and whacked by Darrell Gardner. You see him right there, a 1st-round pick at 96 out of Baylor.
The Packers are trying to figure out up front what they can do to establish their running game. They've moved some personnel around. Mike Flanagan is starting at center. You got Mike Wall starting at left guard. You got some guys in there that they're trying to establish a running game. But Dorsey Levens just can't seem to get his motor running.
Levens, of course, all-pro in 97. Held out beginning of camp last year. Never had the consistency all season long, and still searching for it here in the preseason. 2nd down and goal inside the Miami 5. Play action by Hasselbeck. To the end zone. Intercepted. It's picked off. Snared by Sean Wooden. A touchback back to the 20 as the Packers have thrown their 2nd interception tonight. This one more painful in the end zone. And a Packer interception thrown moments ago by Matt Hasselbeck.
Well, it's a play-action pass. You got both backs coming into the flat, and Levens, but William Henderson looks like he's open, but he goes to the backside of the receiver, and Sam Madison just does an excellent job of breaking underneath the ball and getting the interception.
Hewitt in for a 2nd offensive set with Miami. 1st and 10 outside his 20, and the pass caught by tight end Troy Drayton. And the ex-Ram lumbers upfield, getting a 1st down, a pickup of 13 to the Miami 33. Tackle made by Leroy Butler and Santana Dotson.
Yeah, Santana Dotson was 15 yards downfield. They caught him in a zone blitz, and this is where Santana's got to get back underneath the tight end on a zone blitz and just didn't get back quite far enough. And when you got a defensive lineman covering a receiver like Troy Drayton downfield, unless you get pressure, you're in trouble.
A lot of trouble. 1st and 10. John Avery squeezes out to about the 36-yard line, and tackle made by Vonnie Holliday, who was on the defensive line tonight with Cledius Hunt, a third-round pick out of Kentucky State, and the kid you're watching tonight.
Cledius Hunt, he's had an excellent camp thus far this year. He's already got 3 sacks, but he's a guy that they think he can be a player. He's a little immature or not quite developed as far as he needs to be a professional football player yet, but he has talent.
Moved in camp from the right side to the left side, so he is working on a change of position during the month of August. Going to hand off again, goes to Avery on second down. Finding a hole and bursting up to a first down at the 45. Leroy Butler and Darren Sharper, the safeties, make the tackle. Another Miami first down.
Miami's establishing some sort of a running game where they're keeping Green Bay off balance, running the football and throwing the football. But the thing you've got to concern yourself with is what you're saying, consistency. These are not little 2-3 yard gains. These are 6-7 yard knocks here. And again, last week against New Orleans, they had 248 offensive yards in the first half alone. And here we are still in the first quarter.
With just under 4 minutes to play, Dolphins on a safety lead at 2-0 from the 45. First and 10. Hughes. They got a block on Hunt, and down goes the quarterback, and Santana Dotson somehow called his way and got Heward to go down.
Now remember yesterday we talked to Ray Rhodes about what this defense needs to do. He knows what guys can play. He's waiting for them to step up in the season. He says they'll do it when necessary. Cledius Hunt gets back there, but then here you got Santana Dotson, who is a true professional, a 7-year guy who knows how to play the game of football, and he just turned it up a notch on that specific play.
Dotson was great in 97, struggled in 98, and I think now even more so he is thrust in that leadership role.
As an older veteran, you get thrusted into a leadership role, and especially when you look at the guys that he's playing around. They're youngsters.
And with no Reggie White, second down and a ton. Long throw, caught, shy of the first down. Tight end Troy Drayton makes his second grab on this series. Bernardo Harris gets him down, and it'll now be third down and about 4 yards to go.
Another 14-yard pickup there by Horde. He threw the ball downfield, but I'll tell you what, he's better be getting rid of that ball in a hurry, because Cledius Hunt is in his face. He is getting in the backfield. He is whooping that left tackle, that right tackle.
Hunt leads him in sacks. Leads the Packer defense in sacks with 3 this preseason. Third down and 4 after the 12-yard gain on the pass to the tight end Drake. Shotgun formation for Heward. With time, blitz is on. The pass is caught for a first down and grabbed, and down goes receiver Aronde Gadsden. 10-yard gain on 3rd and 4, and Heward was whacked as he let that ball go.
This is when I talked to Emmett Thomas about what kind of defense he's going to employ this year. He may give up a play like that every once in a while, but here you're going to see Brian Williams with a clean shot right to the chest. And that's what football is all about. When you're a linebacker and you've got a free run at the quarterback, there was nothing dirty about that. That wasn't a headshot. That was right in the chest. Just beautiful. I call that a snot. That's a snot bubble right there.
First down and 10. Rob Conrad, their first-round pick and a fullback from Syracuse, takes it down to about the Packer 18-yard line. Darren Sharper caught up with them. A run of 22 yards. Conrad is a guy that they hope can develop into what Moose Johnson was with the Dallas Cowboys.
He's got the size to do it, and he has the ability to carry the football. Up front, you just see excellent blocking and good vision by him. He makes a great cutback, and the one thing that Ray Rhodes can't stand that happened a lot last week, and that would force that play, is a missed tackle at the line of scrimmage.
On the 18, first and 10. An interception of Hasselbeck set up this possession. Avery jetting up the middle, breaking a tackle, and he's near the 10-yard line. Bernardo Harris finally got him.
They're gouging the middle of the Green Bay Packers defensive line right now, and you have to wonder whether it's physical, whether they're tired, or whether it's the unit they've got out there. Most of them are starters. You see Bernardo Harris, Santana Dotson, and they're just gouging these guys. Hats on hats, and they're moving the football against the number one unit, the number one defensive unit of the Green Bay Packers.
That means the number one unit probably is not going to get the rest as early as they thought tonight.
They're still out there.
Exactly. Second down. And the handoff goes to Avery, running outside, stiff-arming his way into the coverage applied by Antoine Edwards, the rookie for the Packers, and out of bounds he goes, and still shy of the first down, losing 2.
That was another play designed to go inside, but when Gilbert Brown and Santana Dawson line it up.
Interception of Hasselbeck set this up from the Dolphins 20 now at the Green Bay 13. Stewart in the shotgun. With time to throw, batted down. Nice play by Cledius Hunt, the kid you're watching tonight, the rookie from Kentucky State. Wipes it away.
Little itty-bitty Kentucky State put out this great big monster. This kid is a mammoth of a man. And they brought everybody. They brought the house on this. Cledius was in the middle. He's playing. They moved him inside to a defensive tackle position there, and they brought the blitz. And Cledius did a good job of kind of almost a zone blitz where he drops back into a coverage and got his hands up. Watch the quarterback get your hands up and knock it down.
So the Packer defense holds Miami's offense out of the end zone, and now they're going to try for 3. Olindo Mare will try a 31-yard field goal. Holding is Stewart, and the kick is up. The kick is good, and the Dolphins lead the Green Bay Packers 5-0 here in the second quarter. Green Bay will get it next. Mare tacks on 3. Dolphins on top. Quarter. Brett Favre is done for the night. This is the ex-Steeler, Jaheen Arnold. And he's out to the 25-yard line. Arnold is about as consistent a deep threat as they've got in the receiving corps. Tackle was made by Wilson and Matt Hasselbeck. They'll take the offense out there again for Green Bay. Favre is done for the night. We saw him twice very quickly, and he was out.
They're making quite a few moves in there, and now here comes Desmond Howard to get his first look. He was going to get some look at the nickel wide receiver, and he's going to get some look on a regular situation. They come out with a 3 wide receiver set.
1st and 10 outside the Green Bay 25. The fake handoff. Hasselbeck throws, and the pass is caught by Arnold, who runs outside. And the 4th-year player out of Fresno State picks up a first down.
Yeah, and there was a little secret I got to tell you about what happened out there.
Gain of 11. What'd you see?
Jaheen Arnold. Well, actually, for Matt Hasselbeck, for a young quarterback, he duped the Miami Dolphins defense there. There's a signal, there's an audible that he called out there that meant run. Everybody was thinking run, and he duped them out and came out with that pass. That was, I could hear it from way up here.
Well, you weren't fooled, were you?
But I wasn't fooled.
Oh, no. Across the 36. Handoff goes to Basil Mitchell. And he was whacked pretty hard. Mitchell is out of TCU. Tim Bowens makes the tackle, and downstairs we go to Chris Ross.
All right, gentlemen, we got an injury report for you. It's not one of the major players. It's Todd McBride, a undrafted rookie free agent out of UCLA. But Ray Rhodes really likes this kid as a cornerback. He's tough. He's a big hitter. He pulled a hamstring on the free kick after the safety. And why is that important? Well, like a lot of other guys tonight, fellas, with 68 players on the roster, 15 will be cut, and guys can't afford to be injured in their last opportunity to shine. Back up to you.
Thank you, Chris. And they like McBride. First down, make it second down, and the pass to Henderson. With the catch out near the 35, Jimmy Clements makes the tackle for Miami.
Well, with only a couple fullbacks that they got to take a look at, William Henderson was going to see an awful lot of playing time today, and he's getting about as much as he wants to see in the first half, and we're going to see him again in the second half. But they need to do a little bit more. They keep finding themselves in an offensive situation where it's 3rd and 10 again, and I don't know if Hasselbeck wants to continue to find himself looking 3rd and long.
Official timeout here with 13:16 to play as they...
I thought he said auspice. I think that was a bird I used to hunt.
And probably 8. Look at him. Here's 3rd and 10. Gardner is chasing Hasselbeck, shy of the first down, scampering up the sideline. Knocked out of bounds at the 42, and he had to get to the 46. Brock Marion finally gave him the final shove. It'll be 4th and 3, and Packer quarterback Matt Hasselbeck will take it back to the sideline. They got a punt.
Kevin, I don't know how we didn't get an offsides on that. Frank Winters, I think, snapped the ball just a little bit early, and nobody else was ready. And here you see Matt Hasselbeck running for his life. The defense moves on the movement of the ball. Well, they were waiting for their snap count and never got it, and Hasselbeck ran it. He was a little scared, as you could say.
Auspices AU And now here's, I can't, oh, it was almost blocked again. Hansen got it away. Keo Sanford will let it wisely bounce inside the 5 and ricocheting into the end zone. 58-yard punt, which was just that close to getting blocked. And this kid making his second tour of NFL training camps just got cut from Cleveland, now in Green Bay. And a timeout on the field with the Dolphins shutting out the Packers 5-0. So it's a touchback, and Miami gets it again from the 20-yard line with 12:31 to play here in the second quarter, leading 5-0 on a 31-yard field goal and a blocked punt, which resulted in a safety. Hewitt is the quarterback, and the handoff goes to the slippery John Avery, who dives ahead to the 24.
Avery's been a workhorse for Miami today. Here you're going to see the replay of that punt block. You look down at the bottom half of the screen. Miami's got one guy they overloaded the left side. We got a left-footed kicker, and he's going to come virtually unblocked right at the kicker. And that's putting the pressure on the kicker right there in itself. You can see there's nobody even touching him. Beautiful, beautiful replay there, guys. Beautiful.
Second down and 6 after the 4-yard gain by Avery. They got the block. They throw it outside. Caught by Kentroy Barber, the ex-New England Patriot, who is near the 30, close to a Miami first down. Rookie Antoine Edwards makes the tackle.
A good job outside by Keith McKenzie, who's been somewhat demoted to some extent. That they moved Von Booker ahead of him, but Keith McKenzie's a situational player, a third down guy, and he did a good job of containing the quarterback, not biting in on the fake, on the run fake inside, and making him throw that ball. But again, it's another completion. Here, look at 3rd and short.
Long spot. They moved it back a half foot.
Well, then it wasn't as long as I thought it was.
So that means everything you just said is for naught?
Never mind.
Yeah. 3rd down and a football's length to go. Quarterback sneak by Hewitt, and he does. He gets the first down. As he found a crack and crept through it. Well, are you ready to put on your thinking cap there, mister? Time now for the Dodge Trivia question. What former Packers player who earned All-Pro honors at another position kicked 3 field goals to provide the winning margin back in the '62 NFL title game, a 16-7 win for Green Bay over the New York Giants?
If it's not an Osprey, I would have to say something like maybe it'd have to be Paul Hornung. I would say Paul Hornung. Paul Hornung's the only guy I know that kicks straight ahead. Paul Hornung kicked Osprey. He was kicking Osprey back and forth.
Yeah, you've been kicking a lot of Osprey yourself. It's 1st down and 10, going deep.
Oh, yes. There you go.
The ball is thrown. Fred Vinson grabbed it over his shoulder. The flag is down, which may wipe it away.
Oh, they got to call that on offensive pass interference because, oh, no. Now, that is a call that's going to be, you can't dispute a judgment call, but I'm telling you what right now, Fred Vinson had excellent position as a defensive football player. The ball
defensive
was...
pass interference.
That is...
Number 31.
That is a terrible call. That is a terrible call. They try to make this game so much of an offensive-minded football game where they put points on the board. But that ball, Fred Vinson, look, he is the receiver. He is behind the receiver. Look at the receiver going over the top of him. He's got position of the ball. Beautiful play by him. That's why he was one of their top 3 draft picks. They think this kid can do that.
And you're right when you say it can't be reviewable because it was a judgment call. So, nonetheless, Miami again in Packer territory from the Green Bay 41. Hand off to Avery. Got a block from Barber, and the tackle is finally made by Bill Lyon.
Maybe that's what this defensive team needed, was a little bit of riling up. Everybody realizes, hey, this is a preseason game. It's the last one. Everybody wants to get out healthy. Here you're going to see Von Booker coming down inside, just crashing down the whole right side of the line and getting in and making the tackle. And, the one thing that they tried to do with that switch with Von Booker over Keith McKenzie is, Kevin, they wanted the biggest individuals on the line. You lose a Reggie White, you're losing a 300-plus pound man. You put a Von Booker out there, and now you've got another 300-pounder.
He's bigger than McKenzie, so that's why he's taking Reggie's old slot. 2nd down, 11. Hewitt gets a block, has time, dumps it across the middle, caught by Avery. Great move on the play, taking out Anthony Davis, and then diving for the first down to the Green Bay 22. Andre Dixon made the tackle.
You got it, Neil.
Anthony Davis was in position to make the tackle, but a nifty move by Avery broke him free.
You know, Anthony Davis, they moved him to outside linebacker today to get him some work, and he's a guy that they brought in here. He's a veteran player. He started for Kansas City for 4 years. He can do some unique things. He's got speed, he's got strength, and he's got starting ability. But right there, little Avery beat him on a passing route.
Thus, 1st and 10. Running back, Tony Parmley. 3 receivers for Hewitt. The quick throw outside. Caught and brought down immediately. Wide receiver, Aronde Gadsden. A guy who was playing arena football when the Dolphins kind of literally stumbled on him early last season, and he was the surprise of last year. It gave him great height at wide receiver.
You know, Kevin, as you look through some of the bios, and we knew that some of these guys were going to be playing through here, it's amazing how many of these guys were in the NFL Europe League and in an arena league where they are getting an opportunity to play, and individuals like a Ron Wolf are looking in the nooks and crannies and finding these talented individuals.
Some of these guys were out of football, and they still dig them up, which is amazing. It's 2nd down. 6 to go. He throws outside. The tight end, Troy Barber, picks up a meager yard on the play. Well, all right, here we go once again with the Dodge Trivia question. What former Packers player earned All-Pro honors at another position, kicked 3 field goals, provide the winning margin in the Packers' 16-7 win in the 62 championship game over the New York Giants? Jerry Kramer.
I knew it was Jerry Kramer. I just didn't want to give it away.
Now, Don Chandler.
That was in one of my classes at Arizona State.
So then Horning, then Chandler, then Chester Marco in 72.
And then a whole mess of them in the 80s.
3rd and 6. Firing the pass is Hewitt. He's got a 1st down. Quick slant. Lassoed by Gadsden.
Nope.
1st and goal, the Miami Dolphins. Aikens makes the tackle.
That was another good play by Freddie Vincent out there on the corner. It's a quick slant pattern, and looking for safety help inside. Fred Vincent does a good job. You'll see Brock Hewitt looking outside, quick look, boom. There's Freddie Vincent, just a little bit slow on the break on the ball. I'm getting his hand on the ball. You know, those are plays that are timing plays that are very difficult to defend.
Vincent coming back playing last week for the first time since last October because he had surgery on his arch. 1st and goal, Parmley following a flank off on the right side with no place to run and no place to hide. Scott McGarahan, the 3rd safety, and a real smart one at that, makes the tackle.
Yep, he's one of those guys that fits the mold of, he's a special teams guru, but when he gets on the field, he's an intelligent football player. He knows how to control the secondary and control the defense, the audibles, and he's been in this system now for a couple of years. He spent some time on the practice squad. So now that he gets out here and he's getting an opportunity to play with some of these older veterans, it's kind of unique to see how he's doing, and he's doing quite well.
2nd down and goal inside the Green Bay 8. Packer defense has been tested tonight. Hewitt lofting it to the end zone. Oh, yes! What a play by Antoine Edwards! Sensational play by the rookie Edwards.
You know, everybody's been talking about Fred Vincent because, as you mentioned, he was a guy that was hurt. Antoine Edwards has been hurt also. They drafted these individuals hurt, knowing they were hurt, but they knew that these guys could make these kind of plays. And when you talk to Ray Rhodes and Emmett Thomas, and everybody says, well, they're playing hurt, or did you get out of them what you thought you were going to get out of them? That's what they know they're going to get out of these players. They know they can play. He was a 3-year starter, I believe, at Clemson. The guy can play the game of football. And in the ACC, they played some talented wide receivers.
He had 2 great plays last year. Now,
and an interception.
Exactly. 3rd and goal. Hewitt into the end zone again and over the head of fullback Troy Barber, and also looking for Larry Shannon. He had 2 receivers about 5 feet apart, and the Green Bay defense holds again Miami to a 3-point try.
Well, they're allowing them to move down the field, but when it comes time to put some points on the board or get into the end zone anyway, they're coming up pretty staunch. But the score, I don't know what kind of a game we're looking at. What would you score? 8-5-0, 8-0? I don't know.
Hewitt is throwing a shutout.
Yeah.
We're in the 2nd inning. Murray has also kicked a 31-yard field goal tonight. This will be another kick which is up and in and good from 26 yards away. Inside the 5-yard line for Green Bay, and they'll retrieve the Murray kickoff. Desmond Howard from the 3 for the Packers. Here he goes with Murray to beat, and out of bounds. He is knocked at the 35. Every time he touches the ball, the place just electrifies.
What's scary, Kevin, is that he never really materialized like that in Oakland. And here, he just continues to seem to amaze people.
27-yard return by Howard. Let's see if he becomes the spark for the Packers, who trail Miami 8-0. Today, and he's seeing a lot of time already in this game.
315 pounds, you might see a lot more.
Decisions have got to be made from the 34-yard line after the 27-yard kickoff return by Desmond Howard, run by Basil Mitchell. The tackle made by Antoine Simpson. Mitchell, has he outperformed, in your view, Damon Parker?
You know, Kevin, that is a very difficult question, because as I go through practice every day and watch these guys perform, Basil Mitchell, again, is probably the best pure blocking back, bar none, on this football team. But as a pure runner, Damon Parker might be the best runner on the team.
Mitchell led the WAC conference last year, undrafted out of TCU. Second down, 9. Going deep, Hasselback, and that one flies over the head of receiver Jaheen Arnold. Incomplete pass. It'll be third down.
You know, they talk about, Kevin, when you mentioned the decisions that they have to make, and, you know, that's a decision I don't think either way where Ray Rhodes goes with that decision. He wins or he loses. I mean, it's a win-win situation. Both of those individuals are quality football players. It's just which one is going to fit the role that you specifically need.
Third and 9. Hasselback, pocket crumbles, and down he goes. Sacked here by Baron Tanner, a 5th-round pick last year out of Oklahoma. And the Packers have got a punt again.
Kevin, I got to tell you, there's got to be some people I see an awful lot of the offensive linemen that are staring at the scoreboard looking for the replay, because the guys they've got in there right now are the first unit offensive linemen. And there you see Raleigh McKenzie right there trying to hold off the sack that had already taken place, but they can't be too thrilled with what's transpiring right now.
There comes Chris Hansen, who actually the Packers looked at before he signed with Cleveland. Almost blocked again, but Hansen gets it away. It's a bad punt, landing at the Green Bay 40. It takes a Miami bounce and roll to the Green Bay 26.
I think that is a minus 2-yard punt, minus
1 yard punt, which I have never seen before.
Well, you know, we on that break, Kevin, that we saw the one punt block, we saw Coach Rhodes, and he's not a real big kicker guy. I got to tell you that to begin with. But something that they're not working on right now on the special teams, they're allowing somebody to come wide open right off the side. And with a kicker, and especially a young kicker like that really has not established himself in the National Football League, you can't allow somebody to run at him wide open, untouched.
Aside from a block, I have never seen a minus yard on a punt. First and 10, great beginning field position, and the handoff goes once again to scat-back John Avery, who picks up a nice gain of 6, whittling his way down the middle.
Bobby Otmore up there, another individual they're hoping can do some things in the backfield that might be able to make this football team. Got a head on him like a hitter and can sit back and make some things happen. And in the secondary right now, they seem to be the guys making all the tackles, because Avery seems to be popping through that defensive line fairly easily. Jimmy Johnson has got to be pretty happy with what has transpired thus far.
Second down and 4. Raymond Hewitt in place of Dan Marino, once again giving to John Avery. And tries to find some room, picking up perhaps 3, setting up 3rd and short. Tackle made by Jude Waddy and Antoine Edwards. Injured tonight, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the former Sharman Shaw from UCLA. And Cecil the Diesel Collins, one of the most talked about rookies in camp anywhere in the league. But both are injured, not playing tonight.
I just like saying those names. Cecil the Diesel and Kareem, being from L.A., Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
This is the recent Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the new Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Third down and short.
Beautiful play.
Bernie Parmalee with great defense exhibited by Jermaine Smith, the 7th round, make it 4th round pick a year ago out of Georgia, throwing him for a 4-yard loss.
He sat out of football because of an accident, a motorcycle accident. He got in a compound fracture in his arm, and he's trying to make it back. And this is where Emmett Thomas talks about his defensive line shooting gaps. There you got a prime example of a lineman in the backfield. Usually they played the Fritz Shermer's old scheme was a 2-gap. Now these guys are shooting gaps. There you had Jermaine Smith in the backfield, a 2-3-yard loss.
Packer defense holds Miami once again to a 3-point try. This will be a 41-yard field goal attempt by Maude, who has kicked them from 31, 26, and he's perfect right there from 41 yards away. So they capitalize on the -1-yard punt.
I think, Kevin, they've only had actually one sustainable drive where they put a 13-play drive together, I believe, is their longest scoring drive. The rest, as you have mentioned, have been blocked punts, turnovers, -1-yard punts. I mean, it seems like they're always in scoring position to begin with.
What a weird game to close out the preseason for both teams.
Well, Ray Rhodes is not going to be very happy. He'd like to see a little bit smoother things transpire than what is. You can see him pacing the sidelines. He's all over some guys.
Ari to kick off again. He's been busy tonight. Really clobbers this one deep. Howard will take it 2 yards deep in the end zone. And steaming ahead, he's up to the 22 and a late flag thrown at the 29. As it stands now, a 24-yard return by Desmond Howard, who has spent the last 2 years with the Oakland Raiders.
Kevin, the one thing I like about Desmond that I see right now that I didn't see with him in Oakland, only against Green Bay, is that fearlessness. I think when he went to Oakland, he kind of lost that. Nolan Cromwell, when he was here, along with Johnny Holland, had a kind of a special little blocking scheme for him. And when he attacked the ball and when he attacked the defense.
There's no infraction on the play. It'll be first down, Green Bay.
Well, if you played for Al Davis, wouldn't you become scared too?
Yeah, I think he had a little fear when he went out there. And now back here, you can see him again when he attacks the ball, or when he attacks the defense, he's doing it fearlessly. There's a man I know is not going to be very happy with what's going on. I'd hate to be in that halftime locker room when he starts to talk to people.
Well, they've got 5 spaces held open in the running back position. Levens will be 1, Henderson will be 2, so the remaining 4 fighting for 3 slots. Basil Mitchell is in right now. Hasselback calls the timeout. He burns his first. The kind of reps and carries, so after practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, running wind sprints endlessly until he's just near exhaustion. 1st and 10, Mitchell out of the backfield in motion. Hasselback wanted to go there, but he was covered, so here comes the former Boston College.
There's a flag, right? Well, I guess not.
So he didn't go feet first.
Yep, you're right, Kevin. You can see he's a little upset about it.
Did not go feet first.
People don't underestimate this kid. He's a big man. He's 6'4" and about 220. He's not a guy that's going to back down from a linebacker or anybody else. And he just showed you right there, he's got some good wheels. And Billy Schrader did a good thing at turning and taking the defenders with him. But there's some wheels right there by Matt Hasselbeck.
13-yard gain, first down outside the Green Bay 35. Play action by Hasselback and a pass to the hands of Thomason. Flag thrown on the play.
Kevin, you want to know something that's kind of scary about that is that was a 13-yard pickup by Hasselbeck. Right now, Green Bay, well, they just added that on there. To that point, they only
illegal
had 14
contact.
yards rushing.
Number 29, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Sam Anderson's 29.
He's out there with a youngster, and he thinks he's going to take advantage of it. He's going to go have a talk with a referee here, but you can't plead your case because it's already done.
Madison right there was talking to the Green Bay bench. He was not talking to his team. He was talking to the Green Bay bench.
He might have been talking to Favre. I see Brett down there. And Brett has a tendency to get guys riled up.
1st and 10. Good block by Verba. Here comes Hasselbeck, and gaining 2 as he has to scramble out of a collapsing pocket.
Kevin, that's one of those things where you sit there and you watch it.
Throw an interception, finish the game 1 of 6. We're at the 2-minute warning. Miami leads Green Bay 11-0. Hasselback is in. Second down and a long 8. Short 9. Dumps it off. Caught by Mitchell. A nice leaping move, and then he's driven backwards. Tackle was made by Larry Izzo.
That was more of a situation where I think Basil made his tackle himself, trying to create something, trying to make something happen. Just didn't get the blockers. Raleigh McKenzie just didn't get out in front in time to clear the way.
Packers have 2 timeouts remaining. Miami has all 3 of those. 3rd down and 12. Outside it goes. Caught by the fullback. Henderson breaks 1 tackle, gets out of bounds, and close to a first down. But shy by about 4 yards, and they're going to have to punt again. And the Dolphin is hurt back at about the 37-yard line.
It's a good move by a veteran player to get out of bounds. And that's one of the unique things that William brings to a football team is
An injured
his
player
size.
in the last 2 minutes requires the team to take a timeout. That's Miami's first timeout.
The punt for the Packers. Great time there. But a bad punt. Landing at the 30. Sanford grabs it on the bounce, takes it to the 25, and then was drilled back to about the 23 by Matt Snyder.
Everybody in his face, unfortunately, was a poor punt, but they solidified what they were doing up front.
There will be some punters let go here the next couple days, and I think they'll be looking at that waiver wire pretty close. On the 23, 1st and 10 for Heward. Rush comes on. Great hit put on by McKenzie. Passes picked off on the play and intercepted by Green Bay's Anthony Davis. The ex-Kansas City Chief returns it deep in Miami territory to the 22. An 11-yard return.
Kevin, very similar to what happened last week. It was a game that they really weren't playing very well, but turnovers kept them in the game, and a great pass rush there by Keith McKenzie coming off the corner. A 3rd down pass rush specialist gets in there, hits the quarterback, knocks it up in the air. See, just a flat-out lays out Heward, and the ball just comes out crazy, and a nice interception. When you're a linebacker like that, unfortunately, they had one opportunity earlier. You got to come up with that play, thus putting Green Bay in a scoring situation.
Packers have 2 timeouts, 57 seconds to play in the half from the 22 of Miami. Hasselback with time, fires a pass down the middle, and it's dropped by the tight end Thomason. At the 6, 2nd down and 10, 54 seconds left in the half.
Well, yesterday Ray Rhodes said things happen, you know, when guys miss tackles. He knows those guys can make those tackles, they just weren't. Jeff Thomason is usually a guy, especially in the scoring, in the red zone as they call it, the scoring zone, is a guy that is sure-handed. There, unfortunately, that ball was just zipped in there a little too quick, and Jeff couldn't hang on to it.
The kid's got a great stroke, Hasselback.
He's got a cannon. A lot of people underestimated his arm strength.
2nd down and 10 from the 22. Blitz is on. Hasselback goes down. Sacked on the play by Greg Jeffries, the ex-Detroit Lion. 3rd and long. And Green Bay will burn a timeout with 50 seconds to play in the second quarter.
That's their second team timeout. It'll be a 30.
I got a dictionary right down here. 3rd down, and we'll say 15 yards to go. Inside the 28-yard line of the Dolphins for the Packers on the Anthony Davis interception. Hasselback throws. What a catch! What a play! The welcoming party. Touchdown pass of 27 yards to the guy who now will be the starting wide receiver opposite Antonio Freeman, Now that Robert Brooks is retired, Bill Schrader, the Sheboygan native. And I'm telling you what, he used some of that track background of his to leap, and he flew head over heels.
Last week, I think that made it kind of solidified his position on the football field when he went up for that touchdown and took the ball away. Here again, this was a sacrifice. He gets the ball, but this right here, that's the effort. That is the effort that gets you to say, look, I want to be here, and I want to be the starter. And that's why Mr. Derek Mays is sitting in Seattle.
I'm telling you what, that pass was so perfectly thrown that Schrader never broke stride. Never.
You gotta like that. You gotta like to have, you know, can you imagine being that kid growing up in Sheboygan and coming here and playing and actually, you know, a lot of guys get here and get into a camp, but this guy is excelling as a Green Bay Packer, as a Wisconsin native. I think it's awesome.
And he signed a nice, spent 3-year deal in the offseason, which should have been a pretty good sign to Derek Mays that he was going to be in trouble, and sure enough, he's gone. Packers are going to try for 2, 44 seconds to play here in the second quarter. That was a spectacular play by Schrader. Well, one of the few thrills the Packers can hang their hats on here in the first half.
It is the only bright spot that they've had thus far.
Parker is in the backfield with Henderson. They'll try for the 2-point conversion. They spread out Lamont Hall to the bottom of your screen. Davis to the top. They'll float it to Davis, and he caught it for the 2-point conversion. What a catch!
Well, I think right now they're kind of showing you, they're giving you a little bit of what they've got. Like, you know, yesterday Ray said you can't show them everything. But when you put a 6'5" Tyrone Davis as a tight end out there on a linebacker, and just throw it up, I mean, that's a pretty impressive play.
And that now is the trend in the NFL. You were telling me the other day that Favre at the end of practice, 50 yards back throwing those lobbing passes.
And the buckets.
Now they want to try to get these wide receivers, or in this case, a big tight end or a former college wide receiver, like Davis was, to outleap the opposition.
And look at the protection that he had up front. Beautiful protection, and Tyrone just goes up and takes the ball away. I think that's a fantastic offensive play. And that's it, you know, they underestimate this guy. He's a former wide receiver at 6'5". The guy's not he's not a small guy, but he's got that wide receiver athletic ability. He's not just a tight end out there at 250 pounds.
He brings back thoughts of Keith Jackson, how effective he was in that kind of role back in '96.
Well, I had to guard against Keith Jackson, and this kid's a little bit different because he's got a little bit more speed than Keith does. He's got a little bit tall. You know, Keith is about a 6'2" guy. Tyrone's about 6'5". He's got a little bit more height. When you're running behind him down the field, you're running at his back and not at his head.
So the Packers cash in on the Anthony Davis interception, which sets up the touchdown pass to Schrader and the 2-point throw to Davis. Green Bay is suddenly back in business with their first score of the half in the kickoff. John Avery is back and gets it on a bounce at the 12. He gets away from Thomason. Running outside and was finally tripped up and brought down by Green Bay's Fred Vinson.
I would give that one to the turf.
Heward now will be in that 2-minute offense, which is great practice for the second-string quarterback.
Also good pass rush for Keith McKenzie.
He throws outside. It's juggled and dropped by John Avery. Incomplete pass.
Now these youngsters, Jermaine Smith and Cledius Hunt and Keith McKenzie, they're going to get some chance. Keith McKenzie's a lot of people underestimate him. They think he's a power rusher, but he's a good speed guy. He's bulked up to 275, but he's got this innate ability to make contact, but then get away from a guy and catch the corner. He's a corner type of guy.
Backed up Sean Jones in '96, Gabe Wilkins in '97, and backed up Bonnie Holiday last year. Thought he would
with 8 sacks last
exactly.
year.
Thought he would start this year, but now he's going to be coming off the bench. A third down or pass rusher. Gain of 4 there as they throw outside to Avery again, covering for Green Bay. Jude Waddy and Scott McGarrahan. Down to 15 seconds. Dolphins have 2 timeouts, and I believe they'll try to get one more playoff without calling the timeout. Which should bring us to halftime. McKenzie again. Down he goes. Keith McKenzie with the sack for the Packers.
He led the National League in sacks last preseason, and he's doing it again this year. And he's showing you why.
And the kickoff to Sanford beginning the second half from the 5-yard line. Got a block from Brock Marion and pushed out of bounds by the Green Bay kicker on the play, Ryan Longwell. And through 30 minutes of football, let's take a look at our first half numbers at Lambeau and the time of possession. A difference there of about 7 minutes or so. Anything else stick out? Total yards, a difference as well.
Yeah, total yards, you've got to give Miami 122 to 73 to Green Bay. They just didn't, they never established their running game, only 29 yards rushing. And Dorsey Levens, more importantly, is the one they wanted to get going, and he just never seemed to establish anything.
Third quarterback tonight for the Miami Dolphins is Craig Erickson. Had elbow surgery a season ago and still coming back. They say he's about 85%. First and 10. Stiegel, the wide receivers in motion. Erickson right to work on first down, throws a pass, which is caught by tight end Ed Perry. He's lost weight, become a better blocker, and he's trying to vie for that second tight end position behind Troy Drayton. Picks up 12 and the Miami first down.
Well, they're starting to move the ball again already. You know, when Erickson was in there collegiately, he actually won 2 national titles there with Miami, which wasn't bad. And then coming here with the coach, kind of fitting into the same type of a system, and they're hoping that he can do something with Dan Marino, as you mentioned, the youngster that he is. He can't be around forever.
Here comes Avery. Look at him. Bob and weave and spin and dive inside the Green Bay 39. Landing at the 38 where Cledius Hunt makes the tackle, but not after the elusive Avery scampers for 16 yards.
He's kind of a scary back. He's very similar to that of a Barry Sanders, where you can see him stop, look, darting around, finding holes, making guys miss. And there you see him, 3 missed tackles, 4 missed tackles, and here down at the end, Cledius Hunt down the field 20 yards coming up with a tackle.
If he's their third down back, I can hardly wait to see what they use on first and second down.
Oh.
Those guys are injured, Abdul-Jabbar and the Diesel. Collins. On the 38, first and 10. Miami again in Packer territory beginning the second half, and everybody was jumping. Now the question is, was Green Bay induced?
Well, Cledius is out there saying, I know,
What did he say?
He said, I know, He says, I may only be a rookie, but I know when a guy jumps offside.
Number 67, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Barry Stokes out of Eastern Michigan for the Dolphins. Well, most teams are at 68. If you had some World League players on your roster, you're at 68, 69, but 65 is the number most teams are at, and they've got to be down to 53 next week, September 5th.
Miami's got one guy at center that's a pretty good stud. I watched that kid play in college, of course, because he went to that fine university down there in Arizona.
The Harvard of the Southwest, right? There's a pass outside, incomplete, looking for fullback Troy Barber. Coverage applied by Anthony Davis, 50.
The Harvard of the
That's what I always say. That's what I always say about my school, University of Kansas, the Harvard of the Midwest.
Well,
oh, you're laughing harder. You know it's more of a joke with your school. Is that right?
Well, I'll tell you what, this kid, Gray Rugemer, he kind of was one of those tweeners in the draft. They never knew where he was going to go, but I watched this kid play, and I'm telling you what, this kid can line up and play the game of football.
Second down and long. Erickson fires a pass, almost picked off. Was it lassoed at the 22? They say it was a catch, and there he is again, the tight end, Ed Perry. Somehow reeled it in, beat Jude Waddy, picks up 21 yards.
Passing attack last week, Miami's actually had 347 yards passing last week alone, and they're opening the second half up throwing the football, and it seems to be that they're matching their tight end on the linebackers, the Green Bay Packers, and Jude Waddy, again, had pretty decent coverage there, but that's what Ray Rhodes says, is we got guys that are there, they're just not making the plays.
Waddy will miss the first 2 weeks because the steroid violation. Flags are thrown. Avery the call.
Nice tackle.
Boy, he was drilled.
Nice tackle. Akins comes up, and that's how the secondary is supposed to come up and fill the hole and make the tackle.
Penalty against Green Bay.
And by the looks of it, I think they got Keith McKenzie lined up in the neutral zone possibly on that one. But you're going to see number 29.
Defense, number 99 was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty.
Watch
Repeat
29
first down.
fill it up right here. 20 at the 20's going to catch the ball, and 29's playing deep center field. And if we're going to get any break out of that, Jermaine Smith trying to make this football team, and mistakes aren't going to get it done.
Well, they'd like to keep, they say, 9 defensive linemen. They brought some new guys in. Of the 3 they brought in this week, 1 is going to have to go. 1st and 5. And off to the fullback. Takes back through the eye. That's Kentroy Barber out of West Virginia. Picks up a hard-fought 4 yards. Carving that out of the middle of the Green Bay defense.
And here they are again in scoring in the red zone in the scoring situation, and hopefully Green Bay can again hold them to a field goal. But they're chipping away, and they're doing a thing. They're doing what they want to do, and they're mixing things up. They're running and passing, and that's keeping Green Bay's defense off balance.
2nd down and about a yard. Pitch out to Avery. Great block by Barber. Avery's got the 1st down as he slides to about the 10, picks up 3. Cledius Hunt makes the tackle, but Barber just waylaid a Packer coming off the left side.
Well, you can see what they're starting to do up front now is dominate the line of scrimmage. You've got some fresh offensive linemen in there for Miami, and Cledius comes all the way across the field. Give him some credit for coming across, but I'll tell you what, right now the Miami Dolphins front 7 is dominating the line of scrimmage of the Green Bay Packers. And Avery's having one heck of a day.
He's seeing a lot of carries.
Yes, he has.
1st and goal from the Green Bay 9 for Miami. Packers have been good in this position all night long. Can they hold here? Avery knocked down. Anthony Davis came through, and they lose 2 yards. Davis all over the play.
They moved Anthony Davis outside. They're trying to find Anthony Davis someplace to play on the field. And if you'll see this play on replay, they should have got a holding call on this because the guy's all over his back. A toss outside. Anthony Davis has got containment, and you can see now that is what you call holding. That guy, 83, was all over his back. That is called holding.
That was ex-Viking Hunter Goodwin, a tight end for the Vikings a season ago, and even with him on his back, he still got the play.
Anthony Davis is a playmaker.
Former starter, as you said, for Kansas City in his career. 2nd down, goal to go. Back now at the 12. Erickson, with time, flings a pass to the end zone, incomplete as it whistles through the hands of Stiegel. Derek Stiegels out of Georgia Tech, coverage by Rodney Artmore.
Well, these again, you know, Kevin, we talked about the secondary and the guys that they have back there, those 3 young guys. Craig Newsom isn't going to see a whole lot of playing time today, but Robbie Artmore and some of these guys have got to make a contribution. Atkins, the safety individuals that are back there, they've got to make their statements, and they've got to do it today.
Artmore didn't play his senior year at Baylor and was one of those guys that Ron Wolf literally found under a rock, and he's come in and had a very impressive preseason.
Yes, he has.
It's 3rd and goal from the Green Bay 12 for Miami. High snap through the hands of Erickson. He falls on the ball. Down he goes at the 23. Miami controls it, but again, the Green Bay defense holds them to a 3-point try.
Remember what I said about Gray Ruger? We didn't do that at Arizona State.
I know we didn't.
Actually, it was his fault. He didn't jump high enough.
Yeah.
But again, there you see Keith McKenzie. He's getting off the ball real well. But you mentioned, Kevin, the one thing Green Bay is doing is they're allowing Miami to move down the field. But when it comes time, they're stiffening up down in the scoring zone.
40-yard try here by Mare. He's kicked 3 field goals tonight, 3 of 3. Fewer the hole. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Mare's had a great night for the Dolphins.
He's getting plenty of practice.
He is. Sure. 3rd quarter, 9:08 to play with Chris Rothman, Brian Noble, Kevin Harlan at Lambeau Field on an absolutely perfect night for football. Just gorgeous. Deep back, Parker along with Mitchell. And Basil Mitchell will take it up the middle, gets a block, and flies up to the 31-yard line. Ooh.
Rob Davis didn't like getting thrown around.
Like a ragdoll, he was thrown around by Larry Izzo. Packers have it when we come back. Quarterback.
expected either. They were hoping for a little bit better production performance, but they're still out there hammering away, hopefully trying to get something established.
Matt Snyder is the guy in motion. The pass through the hands of Thomason, incomplete. Second time he has dropped a pass tonight. It'll be 2nd and 10. Blocking is his greatest asset, but his receiving has improved, although not showing tonight, as we send it downstairs to Chris Roth.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Joining me now is third-round draft pick out of Memphis, Mike McKenzie, who this week was named the starter at left corner, but he's got a little bit of a hip problem he suffered against the Saints, so he's sitting out tonight. And you told me earlier, Mike, you don't think of yourself as a starter yet because you're not playing.
Exactly. I mean, we got a lot of guys that's capable of going out there and start. I believe, you know, I did an excellent job during training camp, so, you know, I earned that right, but being that I'm injured, I can't call myself a starter right now.
Do you plan on starting against the Raiders in a week from Sunday?
If everything goes as well and my hip is healed properly, I hope to be out there.
All right, Mike McKenzie, the most impressive thus far of the 3 defensive backs taken in the first 3 rounds. Let's go back upstairs.
Great, Chris. Thank you very much. 11-yard gain just rattled off by Damon Parker, and as Ray Rhodes told us last night, this kid can hit the home run every time he touches the ball.
He's got 3 1,000-yard rushes, 1,000-yard seasons at the University of Oklahoma, and nobody else has ever done that.
1st and 10, Hasselbeck throws, and the pass is caught. A flag is down. Pass was brought in by Jaheen Arnold at the 35 of Miami. And a flag was tossed.
Prior
24-yard
to
gain.
the pass, we had holding on the defensive team. Penalty is declined. First down.
They didn't give us a player, but it's on the Dolphins, and the Packers have a first down.
You know, you mentioned the guys where Ron Wolf goes out and finds individuals in the cracks and guys that aren't even in football. Jaheen Arnold, although he was with Pittsburgh, he hasn't played football for the past 2 seasons. And here he is out here shining. He is one of the guys that right now the Packers are saying, hey, if we keep 5 or 6 guys, this is going to be one of them.
Ron said they need someone that can stretch the defense. He's that kind of guy. 1st and 10 from the 35. Hasselbeck dumps it off. With a screen caught by Parker. Wow, it was exciting to watch, even though he didn't gain anything on that play. Lorenzo Promel made the stop, and Bill Schrader on the bench, bruised calf, will not return tonight, as our cameras picked him up moments ago getting taped.
You have to wonder there, though, Kevin, look at the smile on his face. You have to wonder whether that was one of those, I'm so happy I just made that touchdown that maybe my day's done anyway, or I actually have a little bruise here that, you know, somebody will spread me some ice around here so I can drink something.
2nd down and 10. Parker gets the call. He hits that hole fast and finally brought down from behind after a nice, quick gain of 8. Jumping on his back was Renee Stewart.
That offensive line is finally starting to do some things up front. Mike Flanagan with a powerful block on the middle linebacker really opened it up. He did it last week against New Orleans, and he did it again here. And Damone Parker just had all kinds of places to cut in there. You'll see this ball goes right straight up the middle of the field. And there you see Flanagan driving Izzo downfield. Look at it. That's a pancake. I got him another. That was an IHOP. That was another IHOP.
You sound familiar with that play. 3rd down and 2. Parker again wiggling his way and diving, still shy of a first down by a yard. Should we go for it here on 4th and 1?
Oh yeah, well, most definitely. Ray will go for it. Ray's the kind of guy, and you know, after talking with him, Kevin, and I know you've met Ray numerous times. I played for Ray. This is where he challenges guys. He wants to know who's going to fight for him. He wants to know who's they're in a dogfight. He wants to know.
Like we said, when Ron Wolf selected him, the reason why he did, he thought he was the right coach at the right time for this team.
It was his only choice.
It's 4th down, a long yard. They got to get inside the 25. Hasselbeck to Parker. He's got the first down. Wow. Brought down by O.J. Brigance. Outraced the linebacker. Gets 5 yards. And just like that, the Packers, trailing 14-8, are back in business with 5.5 to play in the 3rd.
Well, Kevin, there's the difference. We talk about Ray Rhodes and his attitude and all of that. Well, guess who's making the calls? Sherman Lewis. And this is a great call by Sherman Lewis because everybody thinks from that short of a distance they're going to try to hammer it again up the middle, and there you put the fastest guy out on a linebacker, matched up one-on-one into the flat. What a great call by Sherman Lewis.
Much needed break for Parker. Mitchell takes his place, 1st and 10. Thomas in the tight end in motion. Good block by Mitchell. Hasselback up the middle. No. 20 into the 19-yard line, picking up 4. Tackled by Bromell.
Oh, Mike Flanagan's getting up kind of slow, but I'll tell you what, boy, there was some. They brought the blitz on, and I'm telling you what, some helmets met helmets on that play right
see
there.
Mitchell's block?
Oh, that's what I mean. Some helmets were on helmets. Mike's checking that same leg off. That I don't like to see. Flanagan's made he's one of the best stories in football in the last couple of years. Watch these helmets right here. First Flanagan, and then Mitchell. Look at that. Oh, there's a stick. Look at him. That's a pancake. Oh, that's what happened. He hit Flanagan in the back. That was exactly what Ray was talking about.
2nd down and 7. Hasselback looking for Mitchell. In the end zone. Touchdown! 18-yard touchdown pass, the 2nd tonight by Hasselback. First touchdown catch tonight by Mitchell, who took the place of Damon Parker, who was great on that drive. And now they'll try the extra point. Ryan Longwell, and the holder is Hasselback. It was Josh Bidwell, and before that, Peterson over the last couple of years. So now they've got their 3rd holder in the last couple of years. Right on the money to the running back. And the Packers have their first lead tonight, 15-14 over Miami.
See Mike Wall in there and Mike Flanagan. They set the tempo from the get-go all the way down. Great pass play and all that. But those guys right there are what set the tempo for that entire drive.
Longwell to kick off after the touchdown pass by Hasselback, who is 10 of 15 with 2 touchdown passes tonight. On the bounce, Sanford inside the 5. Oh, a nice move to get outside and being chased by the Packers reserve fullback Chris Gall. Flag is down, and out of bounds he goes at the 25 on the 21-yard return.
They'll bring that one back.
Andre Dixon for Green Bay got faked out.
I'm not saying
Holding
that.
on the return team during the run.
I'm telling you what.
44, 10 yards. First down.
Are his shoes still out there?
It looked like he was walking on marbles. Man, oh man. Sanford made a great, great deke. Packers on top. Hasselback with 2 touchdown passes and 10 of 15 throwing. Another great performance. He was on the practice squad last year. How no team in the NFL picked him up was unbelievable. Thank God he's a Packer. 5, masterfully orchestrated, 9 plays, almost 5 minutes, 18-yard touchdown catch. And here's a 1st and 10 pitch out to Bernie Parmley on the subsequent drive by Miami. And he finds a couple yards. Jude Waddy is there.
It'll be interesting to see how the defense answers the bell. The offense got them back in the game, got them back in the lead, and it's happened every week thus far this preseason, where the first half may not has gone the way the Packers have intended, but the second half has always belonged to the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you were talking about Ray Rhodes in his halftime speech. I think he got through to his voice.
Message well sent.
2nd down and 3. Parmley again, like a battering ram, comes up the middle, and Antonio Dingle, 74, allows him just a gain of 1. Came from Pittsburgh after a 3-year starting career at West Virginia.
These are the guys, Kevin, you mentioned the 4 individuals are going to keep one of them. You got to make something like that. You're going to have to tell the coach. Remember yesterday Ray said half these guys don't even know the defense. All they're going to do is just tell them to get out there and make something happen. I can't say that. Just beat the guy up across the line of scrimmage from you. That's your job. That's what you're here for. I caught myself on that one.
That's good. You don't want your kids repeating it when you get home.
Exactly.
3rd down and 1. Quarterback Erickson. Good block by Parno. Picked off incomplete. Looking for Shannon. Antoine Edwards was there. Good rush put on. 3 and out for the Miami Dolphins as the momentum in this one has swung completely to the Green Bay Packers.
Kevin, the more and more this individual is getting time on the playing field, the better and better he is getting. And I think that they drafted this kid number 1 with the knowledge that he had the toe problem. They solved it. They got the surgery. They've been kind of not tempering him, but kind of controlling what he's been doing. And now he's showing the benefit of what they've done.
And it's still painful for him.
Oh, it's incredible. He still has swelling after each day.
The Ohio State rookie Bartholomew with the punt. Flag has been thrown. Jaheen Arnold gets the ball at the 29. Gets a nice block right there and then moves up to the 43, but a flag back where the ball was punted. May have had some contact and it may be on Green Bay. 49-yard punt as it stands right now. 14. We got a timeout coming. New Packer quarterback will be Aaron Brooks when we come back. Green Bay from Virginia, Aaron Brooks, who was the 9th quarterback taken in the draft. 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Parker, slipping his way and sliding his way to the 49, a gain of 6. Renee Stewart makes the tackle. Let's go downstairs to Chris Roth.
All right, thanks very much, Kevin. Joined now by Corey Bradford. You know, the Packers went deep on the second play of the game today to Billy Schrader. Drew a penalty. One reason they're going more deep this year is because of Corey Bradford. You had that big deep pass against San Francisco in the playoffs, out tonight with a sore shoulder. But Corey, how have you adjusted and are you ready to contribute more this year?
Oh yeah, you know, I feel a lot comfortable in the offense, and this year I'm just ready to run by a lot of people, let the NFL know who Corey Bradford is.
Well, that's what you do best. In fact, they call in the Louisiana Lightning back home outside of Baton Rouge. What was it like to go home in front of 60 family and friends and score a touchdown last week?
Oh, it felt great because, you know, they was expecting to come to the game, just see me catch, you know, just a catch. When I gave him a touchdown, it was very pleased with that.
The Louisiana Lightning strikes at home. We'll see if he strikes against the Raiders next week. Back up to you.
Great, Chris. Speaking of Lightning, we just saw as we take a look at the new quarterback, Aaron Brooks, Damon Parker
showing his stuff, isn't
11 yards, exploding up the middle to the 40 at Miami. Watch this.
Good blocking inside, and he didn't even need the trap. The trap block, the trapper ran right by him, but that's just following your, look at Snyder leading the way up the middle and following your blockers and showing some speed.
Mitchell is in now. He just caught the touchdown pass. 1st and 10. Brooks going deep. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. Down the side. Tyrone Goodson out of Auburn was there. Incomplete. Call it 2nd down and 10.
You know, Kevin, this is where Aaron Brooks is very similar to that of Brett Favre early in his career. He's back there and he's so excited. The ball is thrown on a rope. If he possibly could have got the ball up in the air a little bit more, he overthrew him a little bit. But I think the excitement of being in the game and being in Lambeau Field is just getting to him so far.
Second down and 10. Packers on top for the first time. And they blow that play dead before it had a chance to go. It looked like someone moved easy. You know, they traded Rick Meyer, who was sent to the New York Jets. Came from Chicago.
Where?
And some people feel that this team needs
Full start offense. Number 62, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Marco Rivera. Some people felt that this team needed a veteran backup quarterback. Ray Rhodes, though, and Ron Wolf didn't think so. But if you look at what Hasselbeck presents and what his preseason has been like, and tonight has been terrific, then go back to 93. Mark Brunell was a rookie and back of Brett Favre. Ty Detmer was a second-year quarterback under Favre. What they've got now is very similar to what they had in 93.
Exactly. They've got this young kid, but the one thing that impressed them about Hasselbeck is not just his statistics throughout the preseason, is the way he handled himself. He was much more mature than the young man that he was age-wise.
2nd down, 15. Wide open is the running back, Mitchell. And there he goes. Touchdown. the second half, the Green Bay Packers and this kid, Basil Mitchell, have put together, him and Parker. You've got to keep both of them.
That's why, you know, we talked about everything that these guys do and how different they are, but at the same time, it's a very difficult decision to have to let either one of those guys go.
Longwell puts up the extra point. Now my thoughts shift over to Edwin Watson, who did not play hardly at all last week, hasn't seen any time tonight. Where is he in this match?
Well, Kevin, Ray Rhodes yesterday say how many fullbacks did they keep last year? I don't know if that was a message set, but at the same time, when the guys are out there producing and the guys that you've seen tonight, Basil Mitchell and Damone Parker, you can't argue with success, you can't argue with production, and that's what these guys are doing. And that was just a blown blitz by the Miami Dolphins, but when you end up wide open like that, what else can you do but show your speed?
Mitchell has caught 3 passes tonight, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns, and what a way to celebrate.
A winner, and he's proven it, and he's done it.
Packers have their biggest lead, 22-14. The kickoff by Longwell. Sanford at the 5 for the Miami Dolphins. A block by Marion. And then Parker. Sanford is still alive, and there he goes. He did not go out of bounds, and he's caught. This is a Miami touchdown, 95 yards.
Wow.
No whistle is blown.
Yeah, I think he came out back here. I think he came out back here, ladies and gentlemen. Can we review this one? Is this a reviewable one, Kevin?
There's no judgment to it. He's either in or out of bounds. Let's see it again.
Oh, see? He's out of bounds. Watch. There he is. He's out of bounds. I don't like to say I was right, but I don't know.
That's why they've got inside replay.
No, yeah, this is going to be the neat thing, Kevin, because I've only seen it a couple of times, but you're going to go hide in that tent. Somebody's got to go hide in that tent and take a look at it. But
Green Bay has challenged the ruling.
Out of bounds.
He's out of bounds.
The challenge is upheld. The Miami runner did step out of bounds.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what instant replay is intended to do.
I don't know if it's intended to save somebody's life, but it is intended to reverse calls that could change a football game.
And see, it's almost indisputable, and that's why an opposing coach, you know,
Please set the game clock at
if he has to go against his team, there's nothing he can do.
The one thing that I saw in a couple of the other games, Kevin, that I hadn't noticed before, that I guess is now the fault that they're saying that is in that system, is the inadvertent whistle. It still mess some of these plays up.
Right. But that is a perfect demonstration of what instant replay is all about and how it should work if there's a problem. Now inside 2 minutes.
Could have saved the
quarter, but the second quarter and the end of the game. Here comes Erickson. Conley in the backfield. 1st and 10. Across the middle he throws. The pass is caught by the aforementioned Parmley, who moves for a gain of 8, setting up 2nd down and 2. Some of the numbers through 3 quarters. Total yards, Packers for the first time on top of Miami. So the first play of the 4th quarter is a 2nd down and 3. Conley gets the call and plows his way close. Probably a gain of 4 and a Miami 1st down. Bill Lyon makes the tackle downstairs to Chris Ross.
All right, thanks, Kevin and Brian. And check this out. Instant replay, still in its infancy back in the NFL, but coming to a golf shirt near you, it already has its own logo. This is the contraption where they use it, and just so you know what this box is for, ladies and gentlemen, instant replay with the reverse arrow. Ray Rhodes' first successful challenge. Back to you.
Good one, kid.
Yeah, 1st and 10. Good time for Erickson. Curls a pass to the near side, and it's caught by receiver Derek Stiegel, who's out of Georgia Tech. Shoved out of bounds by Fred Vincent, gain of 13.
You're going to start challenging with the score getting up like this. You're going to have to start looking down the field, and that's when some of these young cornerbacks, both of them, are out on the field right now. Fred Vincent and Antoine Edwards are playing on the corners. Those guys are going to get challenged, and both of them are going to get their work right now. And they've got young safeties behind them.
On the 48, 1st and 10. Pitch out to Parnley. Flag is thrown as Parnley tries to carve out anything up the middle, and there was very little room to roll. Ryan and John Harris were there at the tackle.
Heck, Kevin, I saw a number out there. I remember. I thought it was gone. But
John Harris, 91.
yeah.
Holding, offense number 70, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Trade for John Michaels between Green Bay and Philadelphia, and John Harris, number 91 for the Packers on their defense. 6'7".
Jeez, almost as big as I was in that uniform. Didn't I look like that? I looked 6'7", didn't I?
On certain days you did, yeah.
He is a mountain, isn't he?
Why would they give your number away?
6'7", and hey, if some guy's 6'7", 300 pounds, I'd give it to him.
You'd put it on him.
Really?
You'd put it on him. First down and a ton. Erickson stripped of the ball. They called an incomplete pass. He was trying to lob it outside for fullback Ken Troy Barber.
There's all those young defensive linemen again putting the pressure back on him.
Ray Rhodes drafted John Harris.
Yes, that's he said he put on a little bit of weight since he's been back there. And I think the one thing he said is his mental attitude had changed a little bit. There you see Billy Lyons is always kind of like one of those guys you look at and you say, well, you don't think he's going to do much, but yet he always consistently gets to the quarterback.
Former practice squad player, played at the end of last season, second down and 20. Oop, everybody was jumping there. Now Green Bay induced.
Yeah, but no, just because it's induced, now what does that mean?
What did they pulled off?
Well, who's going to get the penalty?
I think they're going to put on big number 70 there, Thomas Rand.
Okay.
For Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing.
Okay. No, that's a good guess, though. I'm with you. That's what I was going to say.
Time to take...
zone infraction on the defensive team.
We're both... You were wrong.
Time to take a look back at the Chevrolet sack of the game back in the first quarter, authored by Santana Dotson.
Everybody coming up the middle. Clydius Hunt did a good job, but Santana beat his guy man for man and got in and got the sack on Brock Heward, and Santana, the old man, just finally said, hey, enough's enough.
Second and 15 for Erickson. Going to the fullback, Barber.
Wow.
Outraces Davis. Fumble on the play. Picked up by Green Bay. Chris Akins. The Packers have gotten it again.
Turnovers again. The Green Bay Packers are the second halves of these football games that belong to the Packers, and it's stemmed from turnovers.
For 6 last week in New Orleans.
I'll tell you what, this kid came out of there. You watch the speed this guy puts on once he gets a hold of the ball. Watch this speed right here as he turns the corner, but boom. Brett Vinson with the hit.
A dominating second half by the Green Bay Packers over Miami and coach Jimmy Johnson. Green Bay 13:24 to play in the fourth with Chris Roth and Ryan Noble and a great crew here in Green Bay. Kevin Harlan, Packers 22-14, 3 touchdown passes. A 2-point conversion in there to Tyrone Davis. Third Packer quarterback of the night is Aaron Brooks. He's doing a touchdown pass. From the 37, Arnold, 88 in motion. Handoff to Parker. Tries to jitterbug for a couple yards, picks up 3. Tackled by Larry Izzo.
You can bet, Kevin, at this point of the game, there you see big Mike Wall. He's going to be this is the point of the game where Ray Rhodes is going to start pounding the football. Mike Wall has been in the entire game. He was playing at right guard. Now he's at left guard. Now he's at left tackle. And he's a big, strong guy. And he's one of the guys that they're counting on to be the swing tackle. You know, the true competition is going to come with Joe Andruzzi. Fits back in there earlier. Chris Roth had talked to him.
Brooks. Oh, that was a pretty good pass.
That was a rocker.
Losing his footing. Arnold was the guy. And look out for the flag.
Any day now? Any day now?
Nope, they're going to hold it in. Thank you.
But yeah, Mike Wall is going to be a pivotal part. He's got to be the swing guy. As you mentioned, John Michaels went over to Philadelphia. Mike Wall is going to be the swing guy to play left or right tackle.
He started at right tackle last week.
Yes, and so now they moved him over to they played him at left guard earlier. Now moved him over to left tackle. And again, Joe Andrews is the one that was probably having the best camp of all of them. And he's going to fit in there. You got Heimberger in there. You got Curry playing center, and he's another guy that they think that can play a number of different positions on that offensive line.
Third down. We'll call it 8. Brooks with time, flush from the pocket. Finally brought down and sacked on the play by Lorenzo Bromell. That will be 3 and out for the Packers.
Yeah, the interesting guy that we talked about in that whole thing in that offensive line field is Raleigh McKenzie. You know, he came into the league the same year that I did, his 15th year.
Isn't that amazing?
15 years in here, and I think he started 126 consecutive games. I mean, for an offensive lineman, that's pretty incredible.
Chris Hansen will punt. This has been an adventure every time he's gone back to boot it. Keo Sanford is back at about the 10 for Miami. If you missed the news on Josh Bidwell early, oh, that's almost blocked. Ronnie Parmley only got about 2 inches away. Good bounce and to the 15. But they biopsied the tumor taken from Josh Bidwell yesterday. It is cancerous. He will miss the season and undergo treatment immediately. And for fewer than 4 years, he signed for 3. So the Packers truly are in a very solid position to make as good a run as any team can have in the free agency era. 1st and 10. Pressure put on Erickson, throws outside, lassoed by Ed Perry and driven out of bounds, picks up 12, and it's the first down for Perry, and Deion Humphrey was there with the tackle. But when you look at the main components of this team, and to think where they've been and where they are now, and they're trying to add to this, Ray Rhodes and Ron Wolf find themselves with a very solid nucleus in a very volatile era.
And I think they've done an excellent job of what you have to have now, the cap management with Lance Lopes and the gang, that they put the guys together. You know, you've got Marco Rivera, Brett Favre sitting there with Frank Winters. You know, you keep the nucleus. You mentioned the utensils. As long as you got Brett Favre there, he is the gunslinger. He's the guy that makes the clock tick. But then it's the little pieces that you put together, the Dorsey Levins, the Antonio Freemans, the Tyrone Williams.
Well, let's see if someone can tackle Larry Shannon.
Yeah. Fred Vincent.
Fred Vincent finally got him. He's a new part to this team, and he'll be a guy who'll be around for a while.
But they put those guys in there, and they keep the nucleus of the team together. You know, an interesting thing when I talked about Ron Wolf when he first came here, he said, "You know, Brian, the one thing that we don't have is we don't have enough superstars here. You've got to have 5 or 6 superstars, and then the rest of the guys around them have to elevate their level of play." Well, who do you have now? You got Brett Favre, you got Dorsey Levin, you had Reggie White, and now you got a Vonnie Holiday, you got a Santana Dotson, you got a Gilbert Brown, you got a Antonio Freeman, you got a Leroy Butler. You've got those guys, and now it's up to the rest of the guys to lift their level of play and to be as good, not as good as those guys, but to lift their level of play and to play that way week in and week out. And they keep the core of those guys. And then when something happens and somebody goes down, they're the best at plugging somebody else in, of finding an Andre Rison off the street and saying, you know, oh, this guy's been in trouble everywhere. Plug him in here, and all of a sudden now he's the best thing in the world.
He's right. After the 58-yard gain by Shannon through the air and the 2-yard gain by Parmley, it's 2nd down and 8. Erickson flushed and throws, and the pass is incomplete to Jamie Reeder, a backup fullback from Akron. Anthony Davis was covering him right there. But that has got to be, that's sometimes why you need 2 people in that position. I don't know how coaches are able to be personnel people at the same time and coach their teams. Because, you know, there's so many people.
Spend a lot of years. You see Big Vonnie Holiday. You spend a lot of years in it, as much as Ron Wolf has been around talent and been around individuals and in this league and seen some of the greatest football players to play the game, and he continues to find them. I mean, Vonnie Holiday, he moved up 10 picks with the 12 picks with these Miami Dolphins to grab Vonnie Holiday. And look at what this kid's turned out to be.
They're down an 8 for Erickson. Here comes the rush. McGarrahan is chasing him. Erickson throws in the end zone, and it's caught but out of bounds. Caught but out of bounds. Coverage on the play by Edwards. Green Bay escaped as Erickson was escaping the grasp on the near side.
Kevin, exactly what happened last week against the New Orleans Saints. Emmett Thomas would call the blitzes would be there. There's nobody that picks up McGarrahan, but he takes the wrong angle at the quarterback, goes to the upfield shoulder instead of the outfield shoulder. He scrambles out of it, and now you got to play at the end zone. You got to go to the right end of the shoulder, chase the quarterback, back to your buddies. Don't let them get around that corner.
How in the world, and experience has got to teach that. McGlarian has only been in the NFL 2 years. I mean, upfield, shoulder, downfield. That's something that's got to come.
Coach.
Yeah. Packers have held again to a 3-point try from Miami, and Mare kicks another one. This kid's been incredible tonight.
Hazel Mitchell has. That makes it pretty difficult.
Parker takes the kickoff, 21 yards, up to the 27-yard line. Green Bay will have it there. Aaron Brooks will go back out as quarterback. Parker has played great. Mitchell has played great. They've got some very interesting decisions to make for the backups behind Dorsey Levens and William Henderson.
You know, you have to make that decision. You know, like Ray said.
I think these two kids have earned a spot tonight.
Without question, they've earned a spot, whether it's here or somewhere else. You know, as soon as Ron Wolf or anybody else even thought about putting those people out there, there'll be plenty of people out there saying, what do you want for them?
First down and 10. How much there for Parker?
Yeah, I need to play cards with Ron Wolf. You know? I mean, he would probably be a pretty darn good poker player. Should I say this now, Kevin?
Chris wanted you to read this.
Yeah, this is very important to me. Should I say this?
Well, go ahead.
Well, you wanted it.
You sound smart reading it.
Well, I'll wait until after this play because it takes me too long.
I don't even know what some of those words are.
Well, I was hoping you'd help me with something.
Second down, Parker breaks one tackle, vaults off his outstretched arm, and is to the 31. Snyder with the block, gain of 9 for Parker, who's already got a ripped jersey tonight. That's how slippery he's been tonight.
And again, the offensive line is opening up some holes now. Those big guys up front are starting to really take control of the game. Mike Walsh still out there at left tackle. Anyway, this broadcast is authorized under the broadcasting rights granted by the Green Bay Packers Incorporated, solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience, and any publication or rebroadcast, don't you laugh, or other use or description of accounts of this game without the written consent of the Green Bay Packers Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Good.
I tried to get it out before the play.
I know it. Pressure is on. Third down. A roving Brooks throws a pass, and it's caught close to a first down by Donald Driver. The 7th-round rookie pick out of Alcorn State. Jimmy Clements was there to prevent him from getting the first down, and Green Bay is going to punt.
You know, Kevin, this guy has done some phenomenal. Donald Driver has made some phenomenal catches in the in practices and such. When he's gotten into the games, he just hasn't shown that same sparkle that he has in practice. They say, you know, I mean, he's one of those guys, the Railbirds, just say, wow. But then he just hasn't really stepped out and done that yet in a game-time situation. They keep waiting for it, and as we talked about, the depth that they have at wide receiver and the speed, he has the speed to get behind people, but with a Corey Bradford and a Antonio Freeman, it's hard to figure out where you're going to fit in with the Bill Straders and everybody.
Maybe a prime, and they're going to be short by about the length of a football. A prime candidate, you'd think, then, for the practice squad.
Well, you always got to expose them.
Yep.
You know, and that's trouble when people have the opportunity to see these guys in the preseason and know, and people know, you know, when you come to an organization like the Green Bay Packers, there's a lot of football teams out there that their starters aren't as good as some of the 13 guys that the Packers have sitting over here.
Right below us are scouts from almost every National Football League team watching this game, making notes. They're doing some scouting tonight. They're going to see who's on the waiver wire come next week.
Exactly.
Chris Hansen will punt again. He's had a tough night.
Which has always been a thrill tonight.
He has had a tough night. Keo Sanford back at about the 21 for Miami. No rush here, and he gets off a rocket. Sanford lets it bounce at the 6, to the 1. Oh, and it hit him. If it hits Sanford, it's Green Bay's ball. Oh, no, they called it. It's a touchback and back to the 20-yard line. As Edwin Watson, a running back we were talking about before, who has not gotten a lot of time the last 2 weekends, had a foot in the end zone, or at least on the goal line.
Your guns, man.
Pressure tonight.
So, you know, interesting story about Ross. You know, a lot of people don't realize it, but Ross and John Michaels were very, very close individuals, and he was very hurt by the move. He lost his best friend.
Just did it.
He's got some cannons, doesn't he?
First and 10 for any part.
Oh, nice shot.
Whacked hard by Chris Akins, who played at Division I AA Arkansas Pine Bluff, and there's.
Did you guys beat them, Kansas?
Maybe you're not familiar with the football legacy that is Kansas football. I can tell that. Hey, it's a basketball school.
There you go.
It's a basketball school. I'd like to say you are a football basketball school yourself, but I'm not sure what Arizona State is. Baseball. Second down and 6 in Parmley.
There you go.
Wrapped up by Jim Nelson, who was a college linebacker at Penn State. Then he was a fullback. Now he's back at linebacker.
And I'm telling you, you know, the thing that he learned was that it was better to hit people than it was to get hit.
Yeah.
You know, he did some neat things in practice, being fresh and going against his buddies as fellow linebackers, you know, as the scout team. But then when actually he got back there at fullback and the guy started peppering him a little bit, he said, I think it's probably a little bit better to be on the other side. He's got tremendous speed. Boy, I watched him in practice. The guy's got some wheels.
There's some athletes on this team.
Yes.
Cuts are going to be different. First and 10. Pass thrown to Jamie Reeder. Backup fullback, picks up 5. Make it second down and 5. Davis and Nelson were there. Packers coming in really wanted with their revamped secondary tonight. Truly wanted to make a statement about teams throwing the long ball on them. And they've had really just one time where they were bitten tonight, the 58-yard pass to Shannon. Aside from that, nothing very long throwing by the Dolphins.
And the two young guys have been out there the whole game. They've been out there exposed by themselves without a whole lot of help over the top, and have done a very good job. Both, you can see him pressing, Antoine Edwards up top pressing, and Vincent off.
Here comes Parmley. Brought down, gain of 3, setting up third down and 2 with Green Bay on top.
And you know, Kevin, you talk about those young guys and the injuries that the Green Bay Packers drafted those guys with those injuries, and both of them are still out there. McKenzie's, of course, out with his hip pointer, but both of those guys are still not 100% yet.
No.
You mentioned Antoine Edwards' toe still swells up. Vincent still has some problems in his Achilles and his arch. With both these guys, as they continue to get healthier, they're going to get better than what they've shown tonight.
Third down and 2 for Miami. Erickson hit as he throws, and down he goes. Sacked by Bill Ryan. Ryan, undrafted, practice squad, and now he's with the Packers on this defensive line.
You know, I went through his bio, and you know it was neater than all get out. He holds a degree in occupational therapy, but you know what his hobby is, Kevin? Racing remote-controlled cars. I thought that was interesting.
Bartholomew, the rookie, has to get out to the 42 on a bad snap, and down he goes, and the Packers take over at the 28. Rookie Andre Dixon got him.
They were burned last week against New Orleans early in the first half with a fake punt, but it didn't happen this time. I don't know if that was a planned fake punt or... Actually, I think Scott McGarrahan got back there fast enough to block the punt, and then the rest of the boys kind of held off and said, Up from the top, I think you'll see Scott McGarrahan come. There comes number 43 off the top. And he just decides to go. I don't think that was...
He could have punted.
Yeah, he just decided to go. That's not something that the coach is going to be real thrilled with. Punt the ball, that's what you're there for. You're a punter, you're not a running back.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson is not. Look, I'm going to have you out of here is what he's saying.
Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach. Handoff goes to Parker, picks up 2 yards. Second down and 8.
You are a punter, son. That is the least important part of this football team. He said, the ball was way over here, though, Coach, but there was nobody rushing.
Well, he got his lesson. Dave Wannstedt, the ex-Chicago Bears head coach, is now the #1 assistant for Jimmy Johnson. He is on that sideline someplace, and he is the assistant head coach.
And he's a great coach.
He is
too.
a great coach. He didn't do it personnel-wise with the Bears, but he did coach that team.
And that was not, and as a football player and as a football guy that kind of knows what he's doing, that wasn't his fault. I can say that without getting too much. They can't cut me in Chicago.
Second down and 8.
Can they?
It's Basil Mitchell. And not much. There's Dave Wanstead.
There he is.
Who is set to get in the broadcasting business. He was driving with his wife Jan to their home in Naples. Jimmy Johnson called him on the car phone, said, "I need you in the worst way." Drove the rest of the way to Naples. Wayne Huizinga, the owner, had a helicopter waiting in his front yard.
That never hurts.
He flew to Miami, accepted the job, and here he is, the assistant head coach, and probably the heir apparent to Jimmy when he decides to go up in the front office and become a full-time GM.
Once football is in your blood, Kevin, you know that it's hard to get it out of your system. And
Dave Wanstead used to play at the University of Pittsburgh. He was the lead blocker for Tony Dorsett with the Panthers back in the 70s. Wow. Yep. Third down. Parker outside, wrapped up and gobbled up by Baron Tanner.
What, didn't he play for the Packers? Wasn't it Wanstead?
Wanstead did play for the Packers.
Yeah.
I believe he was in.
I didn't play with him, though.
If you did, you are very old. But Dave has been with Jimmy at Pitt, Oklahoma State, University of Miami, Dallas. 43-yard field goal try by Longrell is good. That's a nice sharpener for him. Another great crowd here at Lambeau tonight. About 1,000 less than capacity, 59,800. Earlier in the week, Sanford from the goal line. Gets a block, runs outside, and he's got room to roam. Dixon is chasing. And Sanford and special teams, I think, have got to become a concern for the Packers because we've seen some gaffes tonight. Making a 54-yard return by Sanford with 1:45 to play. Remember, he had one called back where he thought he went 95 yards earlier for a touchdown, but he was out of bounds.
You know, and you know, you don't like to pose that question, Kevin, but Steve Ortmeyer has been out of football for a number of years, I believe 6 years, and Ray brought him back. You know, Johnny Holland, who was here, who I had the utmost respect for and played with Johnny for a number of years and did an outstanding job prior to taking the linebacker's job. You just wonder if maybe there could be some help lent there towards the special teams.
Erickson throws, caught by Sanford.
Oh, that looked like that hurt.
And
that
the 27-yard line.
There goes his knee. That hurt. Oh,
you can see it up here. Just gave way. And, look, with 1:34 left in preseason. First down, Erickson. Winds up, fires a pass, intercepted at the 5-yard line. Grabbed by Eakins. And he's on the move with the lineman to beat, upended near midfield, and the Packers have sealed what appears to be a perfect preseason with 1:22 to play, and Eakins may have put the finishing touches on a Green Bay win over the Miami Dolphins. This kid has played well tonight.
Yes, he has. He's come up and brought the thunder stick with him a few times up the middle on some running plays and played the passing game very well. You see Joe Witt there talking to him as his secondary coach. Mike McKenzie giving a little congratulations. Bet you keeps that football. Leroy, that's not bad. That was Donald Driver, another rookie, congratulating him, saying, "Dude, guess what? You might have just made the team, man."
What a thrill, nonetheless, intercepting a pass, NFL game, Lambeau Field. What a great thing. And the handoff goes to Mitchell. Spun down, gain of 3, Romel.
Right now, I think these guys, after seeing a knee injury like that, they're just trying to think, can we run this clock out as soon as we possibly can? It would be kind of nice if Coach Rhodes would just fall on this ball at this point after seeing a knee injury like that. But I guess you want to see everybody that you got.
No one is going to stop the clock. 2nd and 14, and this should be it. Flag is thrown.
You're wrong. They were the referees were going to stop the clock. What's necessary. And then when called upon in preseason and 4 preseason games, every time he's been on the field, he's produced.
Second down, 19. Panthers have all 3 of their timeouts. So looks like they're going to get a few more plays in here before the end of... busted play, and Brooks has to spin out of it. Running outside, improvising, and almost broke it free before Larry Izzo brought him down in a gain of 7. Flag thrown.
See, this is not Ray Rhodes' type of football here. He won't settle for that.
Tyrone Goodson may have done something to tick him off.
Yeah, Ray is a perfectionist, and he likes a dogfight, but he wants a fair dogfight. He'll stand right beside his players and back you all the way to the end. He's a tremendous, tremendous football coach. Where's he got 5 Super Bowl rings?
He's got a bunch. San Francisco. Second down. Another flag is thrown. Handoff went to Chris Gall, the rookie out of Indiana, who was just waived by the Indianapolis Colts. 17 seconds to play.
Personal foul on the offensive team, number 75, 15-yard face mask. 15 yards against the offense. Repeat, second down.
Greg Heinberg out of the University of Missouri.
Well, this is not the way Ray Rhodes wants to see the end of this football game go for the Green Bay Packers. This is not a positive note. But for what has transpired throughout this football game, that first half, and again, the Green Bay Packers turned the whole second half around and look like the team that they are capable of being. Obviously, that wasn't Jaime's fault. I'll bet you that was just kind of one of those offensive line blocks. And these referees right now just aren't taking anything. They're not